Is this thing on? Cool. Okay, welcome everyone to the administrative review meeting. Today is August 11th, 2021. Looks like it is 4:04 p.m. We'll get this started. I'm Steve Burton, Principal Planner of the Weber County Planning Division. Rick Grover, the Planning Director, has asked that I attend and chair this meeting for him today. Make sure Palmer can hear that. It looks like, let's see here. I'm going to widen my screen so I can see all of the participants. Looks like the only person we've got on here other than staff is Mr. DePaulis. Palmer, can you hear us okay?
We can, yes, and I'm here with my wife.
Great. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for working on this.
Yeah. It looks like the only item on today's agenda is UVG 062921, consideration and action for final approval of GVD Subdivision, a one-lot subdivision. Felix, it looks like you're presenting this today.
Yes, that's correct. So thank you for that introduction. A one-lot subdivision in the Forest Valley 3 zone. This one is located up in the mountains off of Old Snow Basin Road. This is a public county road that's built up to the county standard, even if it is a mountainous road. So this property directly fronts on Old Snow Basin Road, the entire frontage. The acreage that this property has is 11.30 acres, and the applicant's requesting to officially plat this lot as a building lot, as a residential lot. The plans are to use this lot as a building lot for the future. There's a couple things that exist on this property that are unique, particularly the slopes and the need for a geologic reconnaissance and geologic study. In this case, the owner will be utilizing a well for the culinary and the irrigation water purposes. They will also be using a septic system for which they have the appropriate approvals at this time. There's also, to accompany this application, is a natural hazard study. And what this does, it covers some of the hazards that exist on this property. In my report, I've brought your attention to page 8, where it recommends a site-specific geotechnical engineering, soils and groundwater study. And that's something that will likely be either a recommendation or a requirement at the time of building permit. There's also suggested buildable areas, and those will be shown on the dedication plat, as well as notices to future buyers that not only that there's a study available, but also that there are some restrictions and requirements that come along with this property. So after a review, just to make sure it conforms to subdivision and zoning standards, we found that this proposal does conform to those, and staff is making a recommendation for approval with the conditions stated in the staff report. And let's see, I'm going to just bring up the general vicinity of this property, and you can see the kind of the configuration and also the frontage. And Here's the proposed subdivision plat. This is taken from the Weber County records, specifically the recorder's plat. Here's the letter for septic feasibility. And also order of the state engineer for a private well. So that pretty much concludes what I had to present. Thank you.
Great. Is there anybody from the public? It looks like there isn't, but maybe the owner, if you'd like, is there anything that you'd like to state about this?
The only thing I let Felix know this, I met with our surveyor who his name is Tyler. He's from Landmark Surveying, and he has taken all the recommendations and requirements from the staff reviews, and he's going to update the plat so it conforms and responds to all of the issues that were raised. The one thing in particular was the well protection zone. The new plat will show all of that well protection zone would be on our property. It will not overlap into any other property. The current plat does show an overlap, and that was just because we didn't have the specific site for, the well has not been drilled yet, but where the well will be drilled. All it had was the point of diversion, so he just drew the protection zone around the point of diversion. So the state has told me that we can drill the well within 150 feet of the point of diversion, and we can move the protection zone entirely on our property. And I think that's something that resolves a lot of the questions that had come up from the various divisions. So that's about the only thing that I wanted to note, that all of those responses will be solved and on the new plat that will be established or uploaded into the Frontier system. And he's working on that right now.
Okay, thank you. Doesn't look like there's anybody else that's on. Marta, is there anybody in the waiting room?
No.
Okay, great. We'll go ahead and close the public comment portion. Felix, I do have a few questions. Is there any road dedication on this?
No,
Okay. Because I thought, is this old, this is Old Snow Basin Road?
yes,
Okay, I thought that it was planned to be wider than 66 feet, but maybe I'm mistaken. They're not asking for any road dedication or anything. on this?
engineering didn't ask for any more,
Okay,
and I wonder if that's something I need to follow up on, just to check the plan.
yeah, it
'Cause I
might be
can
good.
Definitely check that.
A couple other questions. Is there a stream that runs through this property?
It's like there's a drainage easement,
Okay.
so it's probably a drainage. I didn't check the sensitive lands map, but I can.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. If I want to do that, I'm going to go to. Just have to do it this way. Let's see here. It would be in.
So planning drive, it would be in GIS. And then under maps.
Streams. And then just zooming into that area. So this property is, let's see where my mouse
Yeah,
is.
so we don't have the only stream we have is the very back of it. Okay,
Yeah.
just a drainage, like you said, that makes sense. Is that how wide is that drainage usually?
It's like 30 feet. You got 15 feet on each side.
So has engineering signed off on this?
Check. Okay. So I'm gonna share this screen. So that's from engineering, from Tucker.
Okay. About the secondary water and even the culinary water. There was a subdivision ordinance that updated our subdivision requirements for water that happened in May that I think would apply to this lot.
Yeah.
That requirement is that there needs to be some kind of covenant filed with the property that explains how much non-drought resistant area and landscaping this lot can have. So, and that is based on the acre feet that are allowed for this for irrigation water. And so what will need to happen is, and we can make this a condition, but we'll need to make sure we have that covenant recorded with all the other covenants that explains how much non-drought resistant, I think is the word, non-drought resistant area, meaning turf grass. And I don't know, Palmer, are you planning on living on this lot yourself?
No, right now, we're actually planning to sell the property. So we will not be the ones developing it
Okay.
For residents.
So the intent behind this this covenant is to restrict how much grass somebody can have on there, or to at a minimum let them know they can't, just have the whole. And obviously, I imagine most of it's just going to be left natural.
Yes.
But
Yes.
ordinance, yeah, our ordinance kind of applies to really any property that's on a well. We want to make sure that someone's not overwatering.
Right.
There will need to be some covenant where we say this is the amount of square feet that can be watered and that's really just based on the amount of acre feet allotted through this well. The other requirement is that the well would need to be drilled and tested and approved before the subdivision plat can be recorded. And I don't know, Homer, how far out do you think from having the well drilled?
Well, we hadn't even talked about it at this point because we were so busy trying to get everything to this point. And we just really hadn't talked about it at this point. And I don't know, I don't know what the procedure is. If we, so I guess my question would be, assuming administrative approval with these conditions, and then the new plat would be submitted to cover all of the questions and issues that have been brought up. I guess, does that plat, the new plat, then get approved by planning? Is that how it's done? Because I need the new plat to submit it for final approval of the subdivision in the health department. I have the application, but I need and I have everything else. I've been working with a guy by the name of Ryan over there, and he does not want me to file that application until I have the new plat, so they can see where the position of the well will be and the protection zone, and all the updated information, including the address and so on. So
what we'll do is I will basically, I've still got a few other questions for Felix, but once this meeting ends, I think that Felix will probably kind of just walk you through what that looks like, the remaining steps.
The remaining steps. And one of those steps would be the well itself, because I understand by statute, the well has to be drilled and tested and before it can be recorded by the county recorder.
Correct. Yeah. So he'll walk you through that just shortly after this meeting. Another question I had for you, Felix, do you know what the width of the lot is? How much frontage it has?
Let's see here. So if you total the length here, 190. Yeah, 190.
Okay, we're good. So make sure I'm at that 150. And how many acres is this lot?
11.
11 acres, perfect.
Yep.
The buildable area, I just wanted to mention, we do have a very specific requirement for buildable areas that may be different from what the geologist pointed out. It has to meet, I think there's like 5 criteria. One of them is it can't have any geologic hazards. It can't have slopes over 25%. It can't have any building setbacks within it, or really any head type of setbacks. So that's one thing I'll probably add to the conditions here.
Yeah. So that's something that was stated in the staff in the geologic reconnaissance. That's part of the reason why the geologist recommended those buildable areas, is to avoid slopes greater than 25% and to avoid problematic soils.
Okay. Great. Okay. So I'm just looking at the recommendation. Looks like we've had somebody join since we closed the public comment portion, but I just want to explain that we did have a public comment portion, but that has been closed. So in looking at the staff recommendation, I'll go ahead and approve this subdivision, which is the GVD subdivision, file number UVG 062921. And that approval is based on the conditions that are outlined in the staff report. There's also a few conditions that I'm going to add. One of them, so I guess this would be condition number 5. Can I see your pen? I'll be careful on how I word this here since I don't have an eraser. That a buildable area be created in conjunction with the county's buildable area requirements and the recommendations of the geologist. 6, that secondary or irrigation water follow the requirements and covenants in the subdivision ordinance. That kind of goes without saying, just because it is part of the subdivision ordinance, but just since we talked about it, I want to make that a clear condition. The other final condition, that the well protection area be entirely on the owner's property. You might have to rewrite all this.
That's okay. Yeah, I'll make the adjustments on the staff report.
Great. This thing will be recorded anyway, so we can go back and watch it. Cool. And that approval, those 7 conditions are based on the findings that are listed in the staff report. And the item stands approved as discussed. Let's see, it looks like there are no other items on the agenda today. So we will go ahead and adjourn today's meeting. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.